శ్వాసగా గుండెలో ఆశగా తరతరాల ఎదురు చూపులో ఆవిరైన నీ కన్నీళ్ళు ఆనవాళ్ళు ఈ సంకెళ్ళు రాజ్యమా ఉనికి పడు.
Hello, Nomads, and welcome to episode 70 of the Nomads of Fantasy podcast. My name is Brandon. I am your host, and I'm also here with Dave.
You are woman, and I am man, and I am here to love you.
Dave, you're treating our listeners nice this episode.
Yes,
nice.
yes, with my deep, sick voice.
And I'm also here with Eric.
Bahubali has returned.
Yeah, get hyped. So this is a returning director. This is S.S. Rajamouli.
Rajamouli. I don't know how to say it.
Rajamouli.
We're probably butchering it.
Which we will.
Apologies in advance.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is our disclaimer. What you're about to hear, please don't take personal. We don't know any better. We'll try our best, and we will. But yeah, the movie we're talking about is Bahubali.
Bahubali.
I try my best to say it because in my head I've been saying Bahubali.
Yeah,
I've been getting it
Bahubali.
confused. I've been saying like Bahabuli, I've been like mixing it up, but now I got the Bahubali down.
Right. In which, yeah, so that's the movie we watched, and this is the same director who made Triple R, which we did before, and we actually, that episode we had the most feedback from, a lot, like positive feedback, just like, hey, thank you so much for listening, watching this movie. This director's really awesome. You should see his other work. Is kind of the common comment that we got off of Triple R, and this movie was brought up, and I can see why. I can see the foundations of Triple R in this movie.
Oh yeah.
And also another disclaimer, the three of us are going to be probably critiquing or talking about Bahubali from the perspective of already seeing Triple R, which we know, I don't know, it just changes your perspective. We're not seeing it in the order of how they were made.
Yeah. Well, this one came out in 2015, so 7 years ago now.
Yeah, I don't want to focus too much on like, oh, RRR did this and this movie didn't do that, because it's not really a fair criticism at all for this movie, because I mean this movie came before it, and it, we're the ones that watched RRR first, and now we're going back to this one. Same director and everything, but like you said, we can kind of see how he worked his way up to the masterpiece that is RRR.
Right.
You see a lot of the same shots, a lot of like, the same fight techniques and stuff like that. It's good, but
it's like his earlier work. It's like when you see like a director that you really like and you go check out like Christopher Nolan, like his first movie is so low budget, but you can see Christopher Nolan in it a little bit if you're familiar with his films. So there's
a certain style here for sure.
Right. So we'll try our best to not focus too much on, I like when RRR did this better or whatever, and it's not really fair. This movie came before, and it's surprise. It's like almost a 3-hour movie that has a sequel. I didn't know.
I didn't know either.
It's not even like a sequel. It's like part 2. Like it was meant to be like
correct.
two different parts of the same story, which again, I knew there was a second one, but I didn't realize it was like a direct continuation, and how this one ends, it like you have to watch the sequel basically, so it's like part 1 and part 2.
We finished it, credits rolled, and I looked over at my wife. I'm like, well, get ready to watch the sequel to this in like another month or two, because get it on the schedule, because I feel it coming.
Well, we're gonna have to too, because I don't want to revisit this movie and pick up where we left off a year later,
Yeah.
But I also, we also like the Nomads of Fantasy really likes to explore a lot of worlds, and we don't really hit on the same one in a row. So, but I think like in a month and a half or 2 or something, that we'll have to come back and finish the story of Bahubali. But so here we go. We're gonna talk about another movie from India. I'm excited to hear what you guys think. And one of my favorite things when I do the show is the music. And I have a lot of fun. So let's cue the awesome song that's going to transition us into Act 2, where we dig into Bahubali. We have returned because everything is epic, just like us coming back for Act 2. That's what I love about these movies, man. Everything is epic. You can't just like turn around. It's got to be like slow-mo, and your head is tilted down, but your eyes are looking up. You know,
it's like it reminds me of like a soap opera, but like on mega steroids, kind of.
This is going to sound like an insult, but it's going to sound like if a 12-year-old is making a movie.
Dude, I wrote this down.
This, and then you do this.
I literally wrote that down because were in sequence. There was an avalanche, and then there was like a horse riding through fire, and they're just like, I could just imagine them in the writer's room, like, what if we did this? What if we did this? What if we put this in there? Like, there's no limits on what they could throw in there.
I'll say this. This movie is really cool to look at, man. My favorite shots are either like when they're doing really close-up shots of like dude's armor and shit, or when they're doing these really big overview shots of the land, of like the setup, or when they pan around the kingdom and stuff like that. Because the waterfall was like not bad. That was cool. It was pretty, but dude, man, when they got it was like Lord of the Rings all over again for me. I was just like,
it felt like a fantasy. It felt like a fantasy movie, with those sweeping shots of the kingdom and the huge battles and everything.
There's like two halves to the movie, like there's one act two, and then there's like movie number two.
There's like three acts in this movie because you have him before
the third act is a whole new movie.
Yeah, before he goes over the water, climbs the waterfall, and then him courting that woman and learning the story, and then going into
it's like RRR. There was 3 distinct acts in that too. Like I feel like it's just this director style.
Yeah, maybe.
But like, it goes from like a kid escaping a small village and getting the princess to like, it was kind of like Lord of the Rings or like Gladiator or something at the second half or I guess the third act of the movie, where they go back in time and learn about dad.
I feel like epic is the perfect word to describe this movie because it spans multiple generations, multiple storylines over a long period of time, and over like a large area of the world. So yeah, epic is the perfect word to describe this movie.
Eric, you want to take a shot at
God
summing up what the plot is? Because
I can try. I'm gonna probably go mostly off Wikipedia, but I can give it a shot here. But basically, movie starts up. I mean, the movie starts at like 100 miles per hour. Like you see, Sivagami is her name. Well, actually, hold on. Before we even get into this, I want to ask you guys. So there was like 4 or 5 different versions of this movie on Netflix. Which version did you guys watch?
Are there other versions?
Yeah,
I thought it was just the one. It's one beginning version.
No, it's the same. I mean, it's the same movie. I'm just saying language.
Yeah, Hindi.
Okay, Hindi, I think Hindi was the only language.
No, there was
you could
like
watch 4 subtitles for
4 different ones.
I saw 2. I didn't know there was more than 2.
Yeah.
So
I saw Hindi and I was like, that's what Triple R was last.
The movie was. So this is a Tollywood movie, which means it's a Telugu language film, just like RRR was.
Right.
So it was originally filmed in both Telugu and Tamil, which the Telugu version was not on Netflix, which is like the original version.
Oh,
it was simultaneously filmed in Tamil, which was on Netflix, which was the version that I watched.
Okay.
And then it was dubbed in Hindi and Malayalama. I don't know how to say that. I completely butchered
Yeah,
that.
you tried.
But yes, so it was dubbed in those two languages and then shot simultaneously in those other two languages. So
I thought this one, it sounded better than RRR. I remember like the dubs.
The dubs are definitely better.
It sounded more natural in the world.
I agreed.
It didn't seem so.
I agree.
So pasted on.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, as long as the sound coming out of their mouth matches what their mouth is moving, then I'm good. So
right. Yeah, exactly.
It's cool. There's a lot to, I mean, RRR, before we jump into the plot, I guess, but we talked about RRR before, but there's things about this that I liked better than that. Like, they're two definitely distinct movies.
Certainly.
I think this story was a lot easier to follow without jumping between the two guys.
Yes.
You know, it's pretty straightforward, the story, you know.
Yeah.
Kid gets, I don't know, grows up in the village, climbs out, finds the girl, rebels with her, and then we hear Dad's story.
There you go, Dave. You summed it up right there.
Rescues the lady, and then we tell Dad's story, and then we find out you're a prince, Harry.
No, that's a good way to sum it up. I mean, I don't want to hammer away too much at the plot. I want to focus more on what, you know, some of the awesome scenes and some of the cool shit that, you know, I just want to gush over that stuff because there's a lot. There is a lot in this movie, just like there was in RRR. But I mean, just starting out, like I said, this movie starts at like 100 miles per hour with this lady carrying a baby, and she's got an arrow in her back, and she's like running away from these soldiers, and you know, we don't know why, we don't know what's going on, but it's a great way to start a movie with a chase scene like this. And she just, like, you can tell, like, she knows what she's doing because she took out the two dudes that were chasing her like nothing while holding a baby.
She
Jackson pretty good.
She saw The Shining because she knew that if she went forward and stops and goes backwards and retraces her steps, it'll throw people off. And that's what Danny did at the end of The Shining. So I thought it was a cool move. I was like, oh, all right, she's not just running away. This woman knows what's up, and she's pretty clever. And holding a baby. So this, by the way, just this whole scene, she's just holding a baby.
So this lady that was carrying baby Bahubali.
It's his aunt, I would think.
Isn't this his grandmother?
It's his wait.
Because
it's his aunt. It's his aunt.
Sivagami wasn't Sivagami his father's mother? I thought. Maybe I'm completely getting that wrong. This is the only part of the movie that I was confused about, was some of the relationships between the characters.
Yeah, dude, I'm totally with you. Like, I just finished this movie right before recording, and it ends on a cliffhanger out of nowhere. So I thought something was going to get resolved later on, so I kind of didn't pay attention too much to who was who, because I thought it would eventually have closure, and they would say, oh, this person is happy and goes to this person, and I didn't get that, so I'm a little thrown off here with that. But I know that the main character, and we're going to just spoil this story here. Go watch it. It's really cool. It's got like a 90 in Rotten Tomatoes. And
I already spoiled it.
Oh, yeah. No.
We're good.
So I was wrong. I'm just looking this up. Sivagami was Bala, the other guy. The other
brother.
Yes, exactly. But Bahubali's dad, the one that came before him, was an orphaned child that they took in, I believe.
No, his mom dies. She was the queen.
That's right. Yeah,
and the queen dies. Right. He's the prince. She died in birth.
Right. That's why. And then she took him under. Okay, now I get
her
it.
uncle
I got it.
is a jerk, and the aunt said, like, well, we're gonna take this kid on too. And the uncle's like, no, like our kid will now be like the prince. And she's like, no. So then they end up, later on doing that.
So it was right. So it was her aunt. It was his aunt. Okay, now that makes so much more sense.
Yeah. So we see her on the run holding this baby and a sword or something like that, and she's chased by these guys, and they are looking for her. They fall for her trick with the steps, and it's cool because you're in front of this big like set. It's like this is it like a river, or it's pretty deep.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty
It's
deep.
at the bottom of the waterfall, basically, because she gets through the cave.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Basically.
Yeah. You introduce to the waterfall.
Yeah, it's a really cool setting too. I like the whole area with climbing the waterfalls and all that kind of stuff. I thought was a lot of those shots looked good. I didn't see any crazy CG stuff in there. Obviously, it's not a real place, but sorry.
No, that's fine. We'll get to the other part later, but like I just like that she's like, it's like a cool shot, and I'm like, of course this is gonna look good. It's gonna have really cool. And I don't know, maybe the significance.
Hold on.
Of waterfall. What? Did we
Sorry.
get the person wrong again?
No, I'm just reading some of the stuff, and apparently they created the 1,500-foot waterfall like in real life, and it took almost 2 years.
Wow, see,
build
that's
it.
awesome. That's why it looks so good.
That's
Okay.
insane.
Those practical effects.
Oh, that is cool.
So obviously, when he was climbing it, all that was CG, but like the actual like background and setting for the village and the waterfall, like they built all that shit for this movie. It's just crazy.
Awesome.
So anyways, his aunt takes out these guys out of nowhere. Just takes them out and kills them, and she's a badass and clever and holding a baby in her hands the whole time. Who is gonna be our main character, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bahubali, right? And so she ends up like, she's already got like arrows in her too. I forgot. We're introduced to her. And
She
got,
has
like,
an
2
arrow
arrows
in her back, yeah.
or 1 arrow or something like that. Yeah. And so she's struggling. She's fighting off people. And she's doing anything she can to save this baby. She goes into the water, and all she can do is, well, she slips, I think, and falls into the water.
She slips
I
and
think,
falls
because
into
of
the river.
Water.
Not just backstroke. Just do the light as a feather, stiff as a board.
But I just like that she holds the baby with one hand and just like goes underwater and holds her breath as long as she can and takes the baby to like these villagers down by the other end of the water. And
Well,
the
before
one guy,
that,
like,
she
runs out.
screams. Before that, she screams, "Bahubali must live!"
Oh,
she,
right.
she holds him up as she's sinking into the
And
So
she
water.
said
that's on the
something to
movie
like Shiva, right? Like, I'll die for what I've done, but the baby should survive, please. And I don't know anything about these religions or any like water and or Shiva and all that
There
stuff.
has to
but
be some symbolism.
right. So some things
with
are gonna
water.
fall flat with us, just like understanding some of the significance. But she did make that proclaim that, and then she does. She passes. The baby survives, but when she does the handoff, her hand like turns around and points up to the top of the waterfall. Did you guys see that?
Yes.
I read it later. I didn't notice it.
Yeah, her hand like curves and it's like pointing, and the guy like looks, and so then like this baby's from up there. So then the other woman's like, I don't have a kid, I want a kid. So she takes this baby. She says, seal the waterfall. We don't need him to learn about where he's from and go up there. We're gonna avoid all that and stay down here because we have our own thing going on. I would say this is probably one of the weaker spots because he's like, well, it's kind of cool. He has this montage where he wants to climb up the waterfall.
It's like Jungle Boy. Like,
you just don't learn
you
about
get the-
him as a character. Like, you just know about his goal to get up there, and you know what's going to happen. But like, you don't spend any time with him in the village. He's literally never hanging out with any characters. I feel
he's
in this intro.
he's obsessed with it. He's got a really nice smile. He can climb really good.
Handsome, cool mustache.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he'll do anything for his mother. You get the whole thing where she's praying to Shiva with like the buckets of water on the statue.
Oh, that's right. That was cool.
She's praying for him to stop climbing the goddamn waterfall, and he does the badass thing where he proves he's like fucking Indian Hercules, and he just throws this giant stone statue on his shoulder, carries it to the waterfall, and that's what gives him the power to. Well, actually, no. And then the mask falls down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's compelled by something his entire life he's like, he knows he has to climb this mountain. He wants to know what's up there. He wants to know what's over there. But yeah, I was just doing some more research. That stone statue thing is called a lingam, and it's the abstract representation of Shiva. And there's a whole crazy symbolism with liquids merging together, showing like the union of feminine and masculine, and that recreates all existence. So there's definitely some symbolism again that fell a little bit flat on us here.
Yeah,
but it's cool.
I get the
reading
point.
about more about that stuff.
So when he does discover his mask, I don't know. I didn't think the mask looked like a girl. I thought it was just looked like a wood person.
So did I.
Like
It looked like Jim Carrey.
Well, it was only when he like put it in the sand and it revealed like the inner shape.
That was
of
a cool
it.
shot.
Yeah,
that was really
cool.
It
was.
That whoever did the sand like artist nailed it. Good job.
But yeah, this is basically what drives him even more to climb up this mountain, because he's like imagining this woman in his head that's waiting for him at the top of the mountain. So there's this whole sequence where he's climbing and this like floating woman is guiding him up the mountain.
That was
Is
one
this
of the first
before
songs
or
too.
after the dance? When does he dance?
Oh, he danced when he did the statue.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, when he threw the statue under the waterfall, that's when he did his little dance.
That's when he did his dance, dude. That got me. I sat right up. I was like,
like the whole first like 2/3 of this movie were so much more fun than like the.
I wish there was
half.
more
The
dancing.
second half was all war, and the beginning was like the fun.
I wanted
stuff
more
where you
dancing in this movie. It could have used it. Yeah, like you said, especially in the second half.
You get the personality out of him, though. You feel like, he's a fun-loving guy. He seems like he's got a kind heart to him, and then, you kind of want for him. You want him to chase this imaginary lady up the mountain.
But that,
which was, some of those shots are fantastic. God. The wire effects and stuff like that that are blatantly obvious. But I think it's just part of the style of the movies. It's like the comic booky kind of hyper realistic look to it.
Even Japanese, like Eastern culture,
it's like
film
Crouching
does
Tiger, Hidden Dragon,
running on trees and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's very fantastical. It's very lighthearted, but ultra serious. It's just like everything's just cranked up to 11.
Yes.
Like
you can't look away.
Well, I noticed that you definitely can't look away. There's always something to look at, and there's always music. I feel like when you watch like movies out of like America or whatever, there's sound and there's really no other there's no music, and then music happens. Where in this movie, it's just happening all the time. Mm-hmm. It's just constantly. There's always something epic going on. And that's interesting. Just a different way of producing movies and telling stories.
I mean, these guys are portrayed basically as superheroes. Like even when Bahubali's dad, when the queen there is like taking him, he grabs her finger as like a newborn infant, and he's like holding her finger down so he has like superhuman strength. So
he's the Indian Hercules.
Exactly.
Kind of
exactly.
Like obviously none of this is ancient like myths or anything like this. This is an original story, right? This isn't like Indian Hercules.
I think the director's father came up with a story or something like that.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, the director was he did the screenplay, but he was a co-writer on the script.
Nice. You gotta love an original story.
Yep.
I mean, it takes from a lot of stuff, but I think part of it's the directing too.
The film story was written by Rajamouli's father, V. Vijayendra Prasad, who randomly told him the story about Sivagami, a woman who carries a baby in her hand while crossing a river, and a few years later about Katapa, which intrigued Rajamouli.
Wow.
So it kind of started from there, but that's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Kind of came out with cool. Probably just told me this awesome idea of the opening scenes, and then what, Dad? Well,
let's make it into a movie.
Keep going. Yeah. And then they went into a room and and then there's a waterfall. He climbs it, and he's like, yeah, he fucking climbs it. And then he's gonna have this woman up there waiting for him, and it's
Wait, going back to the waterfall though, the shot, like his final shot where he jumps off the mountain, turns around, and shoots an arrow through a tree attached to a rope like that. That was awesome. That got me.
There are zero fucks given. They're that's fantastic.
Yeah, and he goes up there and then he bumps into people. No, there's somebody's on the run. There's like the two tribes are going after each other, right?
His girly friend.
That's where we meet the Aventica. Yeah.
Aventica. Thank you, Eric.
But yeah, she's running through the forest there, and you can tell that there's some sort of conflict going on. I mean, at this point, we don't really know what's happening. and Bahubuli's just kind of hanging back, but he was getting ready to help her, and then all of a sudden, like, she's running away, but she was doing that to lead all of the soldiers to her
that's what it
into
was.
a trap, and then she turns around and just murders all of them.
Yeah, she turns out she's a badass fighter and smoke show. And
As we find out shortly.
Oh yeah, yeah. She was attractive in her
when she had
legs or
blood
whatever,
smeared
but-
all over.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, she's a cute woman, but then she becomes like a goddess, like a few scenes later. But that was cool. Yeah, she like set those guys up, gets ultra violent for a little bit there, and then yeah, he's like, all right, I can't. I'm not gonna. They're gonna kill me if they meet me, right? So he hides for a little bit, but he's attracted to her, and then he's like making a fire or something like that, right? Or no, he goes into a tree with her, and she's like gonna shoot an arrow.
Well, before that, it was before that. He was in the river. He was underwater.
When he swims up underwater and he gives a henna tattoo on her hand.
Oh my god, that's right. She's like
She's having like the
tattoo.
fish eat like the skin off her hands or whatever to clean the wound or whatever.
Yeah, he's so silly. I love it.
No, that was
It's
awesome.
just the crazy shit. Like, I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, you don't know. It's the best part about these movies is you don't know what's going to come next because they all kind of, I don't know. They're just so fantastical and so crazy that anything can happen.
Yeah, the part you were talking about, Brandon, it's even better because she notices this thing on her hand, so she realizes like, oh, he must have did it when I was, sleeping with my hand in the river, just resting there. So they set up a trap for him, and then he's up in the tree behind her,
Branch right above her.
distracts her with the snake, and then he paints something on her shoulder.
He's always got that fucking smile on his face. Which
I
is
love
fucking
it.
an ear-to-ear grin on him. I'm like, God damn, this guy is...
But she catches on, and then he's having a little fire in the woods, and then she shows up and attacks him. Right? Then they fall in love, or
Well, it was all kind
That's
of
where my
sudden.
quote comes in.
It happened very suddenly. Like, he basically meets her in this, like, whatever, garden area type thing. Tells her that he's come here to love her. And then there's a song sequence.
They tumble down like a snowy hill, and all of a sudden they're in like a garden with like pillars and smoke and like all sorts of crazy. It's like a crazy scene that's set up.
yeah,
But-
the editing is a little bit wonky in this movie. I'll say that. Like, it was nighttime. It was pitch black. He's having a fire. She shows up, and it's friggin' daytime. And there's some hard
there's
cuts in this movie. It's just out of nowhere.
There is, yeah. I've noticed that
The
too.
music and sound don't cross over.
No, they just cut out, right?
Like the song ends and you're fucking done. On to the next.
Yeah,
Like-
it was pretty weird.
I think this might have been one of the funniest scenes in the whole movie, though. Well, not funniest, but like the most entertaining is the sex dance where he gives her the glamour girl thing where he, like when she's all that, when they take off her glasses and they shake her hair out. And
Exactly
like,
what it
oh,
is.
she's really.
He's trying to show her true self behind the mask.
But like, some of the shit that was going on, where he's like dodging sword swings and taking off her top, and then he's fucking dodging another stab, dipping her in the waterfall, and then like he just like runs his fingers through her hair, and all of a sudden it's like perfectly curled,
Oh
and
my
she's got
God,
extensions in and shit. And I was like, oh, this is just. I was dying. It was friggin' awesome.
Yeah, I love it. That's right.
Are-
Yeah, she's trying to fight him, and he's
Yeah.
stripping
He's
her.
like-
She's like, oh, did you know that you're
Stripper.
beautiful?
right.
He does a thing where like he grabs berries and he squeezes them in his hand and he like sneaks behind her and he does like her
Smears it.
eyeliner with his finger.
Oh my god,
Yeah, stuff like
that's
that.
right.
Yep, he smears it on her lips too. Yeah,
Oh my god, it's so good.
Oh,
that is really good.
fantastic.
And then
I rewound that one.
Yep,
I
yep.
made
That
the
was
wife
good.
watch that one. That's a classic.
That was very good.
And about 10 shots of her navel
Yeah.
area there just to show
Oh,
her
yeah.
figure.
And then he's like, all of a sudden she'd be standing there singing, then he'd just like pop out from behind her with like his mustache and he'd be like grinning fucking ear to ear, knowing he's gonna get laid. He knows
Yeah,
it's
dude.
coming.
Yeah, he's very charming. I like the casting of this guy because like I don't know, am I gonna like this guy or not? Because
No, he's
It's hard not to.
2.5
He's-
hours, but he's
very
decently
good.
He's
charming.
not a dick, and he's always smiling and dancing, and climbing mountains for his maskless lady. So
His
what's
maskless
not
lady.
it's not to like.
Well, this is where we sort of get introduced to the.
have we said his name? The main character.
Bahubali?
Well, what was his name in the village?
Bahubali's
though?
like the
That's
last
his
name.
I mean, that's his.
it was-
Yeah, that's like the family name, but
like in the first act, like his name is like I thought it was Shiva.
so
I never
it's
seen Shiva.
it's
Shivu.
it's
Sivu.
Sivu. It's Sivu. Yeah, and then in
Sivu,
Teluga
okay.
it's Sivudu. So yeah, it's Sivu in the version we watched, or Sivu.
Okay.
Sivu. Yeah, Shivu.
Okay, but we'll just say that it's Bahubali. 'Cause
Right.
That's his born name. Okay.
Right. But yeah, we sort of glossed over like the main conflict of this movie is we get introduced to the Mathi kingdom. I think hopefully that's how you say that.
Probably
Yeah, probably not. But this tribe that Aventica is part of, their queen was captured by this kingdom, and it turns out the queen is Bahubali's biological mother, which we don't really learn that until later. That's another part that I was confused about as well, because I'm like, yeah, this is the queen, but I don't even know when we learn that it's actually his biological mom. I don't know. That was slightly confusing to me.
No, it's not. His mom died in birth.
Throughout the whole movie.
No, his mom died in birth.
Okay, so this is
I
where
have
I'm
no
getting
idea who that lady
confused
is.
again. It says I'm reading Wikipedia. The person who died in birth was his dad's mom.
Oh, yes. I'm
Yes.
sorry. Yes. I'm
So,
sorry.
Bahubali-
Because why did I get that confusing? Because he's the same actor and he's the same guy because they have the same
Yes,
name.
right.
He's just like a
Exactly.
reincarnate. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah.
Okay.
So I was checking Wikipedia just to confirm, but yes, Davicina is his biological mother, who was captured, tortured, and imprisoned. Yeah,
Which is horrible,
hmm.
man. They just keep her in the sun in a cage and
Like not even like in a dungeon. It's just like out in the open,
Yeah,
like in a
probably.
courtyard. Like
Mhm.
you got to watch everybody walk past and sit here in chains. Like that's kind of.
for
It's a fucked
25
up
years
punishment.
she's been doing that too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she's
You know?
it's not looking bad. You think she'd be worse?
She's just
sitting out
a
there?
little sun bleached and
Yeah.
her skin's all cracked up, but yeah, she's still
She'll
fighting.
clean up in the next one.
She'll clean. Yeah, exactly. And we also get introduced to Katapa, right?
Yeah, I like this guy too.
Katapa, he's cool. Yep.
Well, is he cool? I mean,
Well,
with that cliffhanger.
They
Is
leave
he a
they leave
dick?
us
I
with the
know.
cliffhanger. We know he's loyal to the kingdom. That's what we know about him. Like to
He's
the
a
death.
slave.
He's a slave, but his biggest trait is loyalty to whoever is the king of Magis Mathi. Like that's who his loyalty lies with.
Right.
But yeah, he's like the bodyguard and like basically leads armies.
Just awesome fighter.
He is,
Yeah.
great warrior, forge master.
Your
But,
number 2 that you keep around. Mm-hmm.
but they keep him as a slave to, kind of take his power away a little bit. But it's interesting. He's an interesting character. But yeah, I'm very interested to see his arc in part 2 because they leave us with that crazy cliffhanger at the end.
Right. Yeah. And then you kind of meet all the bad guys. I'll say the bad guys,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Balala
his-
Diva.
Yeah, his
Balala
his
Diva is
uncle,
how you say that.
his
That
uncle
guy's
and his
fucking
great
awesome.
uncle, right? His uncle and his great uncle, basically those
Mhm.
assholes. What
Right.
are their names?
So Balala Diva was the current king, and then what was his uncle?
Is that the Super Jack dude?
Name? That's the Super Jack dude. Yeah.
Super
Yeah,
Jack
he
dude
got the full beard.
that's like fighting the bulls. Like,
Yeah, and then Bijala Diva is his dad. Bijalala Diva. I'm sorry.
The old man that's always holding the robe in his one hand.
Mr. Mustache.
He's got the
Mr.
little
Mustache.
deformed arm
that-
there.
There's a long ass
That's what
mustache.
it was. Yeah.
Mhm. That is a long mustache.
That comes from like the center and goes out. Like it's a flavor saver for sure. So But no, those two crack me up too because they're kind of like classic bad guys. I don't know,
dude.
They seem like they're just kind of dicks in general. But
when we were introduced to I'm gonna call him Bala because I don't want to say Bala la Diva every single time. Bala. When we're introduced to them, he's just fucking fighting a bison, like a big ass buffalo,
right.
And he's just taking it. That's like just a thing he does for fun.
Yeah, wrestling
a wild animal,
a giant bull face first down to the ground. You know, no big deal.
Did you guys notice? I don't know. This might also be a culture thing as well, but did you notice in like the bottom left, anytime they showed an animal on screen, there was a little thing in the corner that said CGI to make sure that you know that the any animals that were harmed are CGI. Like they had a message in the beginning of the movie saying like, no animals were harmed. Everything with animals in this movie is CGI, but they had a little
because they had that in
thing in the
RRR too, and I thought that was just a thing. But then after seeing this movie, I'm like, oh, I see why they're saying that. Like, right, because animals get kind of fucked up in this movie. I forget there was another spot later. I think it was either with the horses or
there's a couple spots, but yeah, like horses, elephants get taken out.
Oh, the elephant, yeah, when the elephant gets beamed in the face, I was like, oh, that poor fucking guy. I hope they didn't bean a real elephant. You know,
don't worry.
Thankfully, they didn't. You know, I'll keep an eye out for that. That's cool.
Was actually pretty good for this movie too. Like
there were some things that were you could tell.
Some things.
But I mean, it was the same.
Like it.
I think overall it looked great. Yeah.
Well, I just want people to think like, oh, like a movie from India, like what is it going to look like? Like, no, it looks good. It looks like it looks really good.
It won an award for best special effects.
How could it not? There's some shots that are incredible.
At the National Film Awards.
The action scenes, like, I'm sorry, but some of those action scenes are fucking dope, man. Like in the final battle when they're running through the guys and they have like guys going from one side to the other.
Dude, it was like a Lord of the Rings in the background.
Scene.
Yeah. And there was one scene where I don't want to jump ahead too much, but when the evil uncle or whatever, the uncle Bala,
please, Bajila la Diva.
Yeah, he gets blasted back when he's fighting the one bad guy at the end, and he's like stumbling back in slow mo. But I don't know, like how did they do that shot? Like, there's some shots that I just like how, like this director really knows how to shoot action, really well, and not get lost. And I know it's just nice. It's not, I don't know, just thought that was like a really cool thing in this movie.
Good use of slow mo as well. I think he got.
I hope you like slow mo because it's in like 90% of the movie.
I was gonna say I feel like he got even more comfortable using slow mo in leading up to RRR because there was some in this movie, but in RRR it was like almost overused a little bit. But right. I like it. It adds to the effect of the action. It just emphasizes the action a little bit more.
So going back to the story, once we're introduced to all the characters at this point, pretty much, they have like. He has to rescue his mom. He doesn't know it's his mom, but he has to rescue the queen or whatever.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
And I thought she was going to die in this scene, but he gets her out. But it was a pretty cool scene. Did not disappoint. It's pretty badass.
Was this before or after he just comes in and is like lifting up the gold statue all by himself?
That's when it started.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's when he first entered.
Walking around,
first when he snuck into the kingdom. Yeah.
Not being seen. He's covering his face. It's funny because I was thinking like, why is he covering his face? He's like this baby that grew up. Like nobody knows his face. But then like you learn like
he looks exactly the same.
Yeah, he's the same fucking actor. So like, all right, I guess I can see why storytelling wise he had to be covered.
They were like, when he showed up, he was like, Bahubali has returned. And then as soon as the guy pulling the statue saw his face, he's like, oh, and then they start chanting Bahubali, Bahubali, Bahubali. Yeah, so good.
Yeah, it was cool.
Great.
Yep. I like that. Yeah, he fucking pulls this massive statue up, pretty much not on his own. He saves it from
basically by himself
and landing on like
he catches it. Yeah, he catches it before it falls.
It's falling, and it takes like a hard stop when it hits when his rope tightens. I was like, oh, that's so. Like as he's pulling up the giant statue, he still has time to reach out and help up an old man that fell down while he's. I'm like,
oh, that's right.
God damn, this guy is smooth.
Right.
So. Right. Some part of me, like, because we have this whole part before we get to the dad's whole section of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Part of me wishes we knew all of the dad's section before, and it makes, after you know it and you go back and think about these scenes, it makes a lot more sense as to like why people are so, recognizing his face in places. And
yeah, I don't know if they wanted you to like just be focused on the story for the first part, and then like with the last act sort of gives you that like aha moment of like, oh, so this is like the history of everything that happened before.
No.
And then, but I think that having that as the last part is important to lead up and into the cliffhanger and into part 2.
Dude, this is one of my favorite scenes. So, all right, I was just looking at Wikipedia to keep the story straight. And Bahubali goes undercover as the guards, and infiltrates the royal palace, and rescues Devasena, right? So that's the queen. So Balaladeva sends his son Bhadra. I forgot about Bhadra. Bhadra looks like he's like modern day times, by the way. He has like a very clean cut.
Oh yeah.
Big fat earring, but he was kind of cool. He's like, all right, this guy's a punk. Like I didn't know who he was, but he was it's basically his cousin. And
oh shit. Okay.
So Balaladeva sends his son, which would be Bahubali's cousin. And also they send the royal family's loyal slave Katapa to go and help get her back. And holy shit, this fight scene,
this was awesome.
My god, so good.
It was fucking cool. This was really cool. Like if people want to just see, like, go watch the scene and then decide if you want to watch the rest of the movie. I don't know how you get to the scene, go on YouTube, but like, Bhadra fight, I don't know, but
Bhadra death.
Yeah, dude. I didn't see that coming.
Oh, it was so good. Well, they're both going at the same time. I know, like, he's gonna one up him somehow, but just the shot of
Bhadra's running away.
Yeah.
Right? And it was a silhouette of him running. That was fucking...
Wait, hold on. Is that Bhadra or is that the other brother? The king? Didn't he... Oh my god.
Bhadra.
No.
Where's the new king at this point? Is he still back at the...
sent his son. Yeah.
Okay.
He says Katapa and Bhadra out to go.
This is where I keep getting characters mixed up.
Yeah. Yeah, look up Bhadra on your phone. You'll see.
Yeah, I did, and I completely forgot about him, like you said.
Yeah. You're right. And then, he's just been a kind of a punk in the background, just kind of being a jerk to like people and stuff like that. But he, like, the entourage to the king, but it's his son.
The posse.
Mm-hmm.
The posse, yeah.
Right.
I missed that it was his son. I just learned that now. I thought it was just like one of his goons, but it was his son, which makes it even crazier because he had to kill his cousin unknowingly.
Yes, right.
But he kills him when he's running away.
He kills him in the best, coolest possible way ever.
It is awesome. Well, because I think the setup for it, like, Katapa's the only one that's been able to, like, stop him at all. Like, he's just basically running through, like, dozens and dozens of guards and murdering everybody. But then as Katapa's calls his horse and he goes to jump and grab his sword off of the horse, and as he's jumping off of it,
sword off of him,
Bahubali flips over,
intercepts
and steals it out of the sheath, and then comes down and does like a head swipe, all in one smooth motion.
It was all in one motion while he was still in the
so
air.
Perfect.
Oh my god!
You gotta imagine he's getting away, and you just see that body running.
Still, a couple steps and slowing down.
Head flipping.
It was like a lie. Just keep running and then
such a slow motion. It's like a chicken with its head cut off. Like, it's kind of the same thing where it's running around for a second or two. Because that was an awesome shot though. I love that.
That was really, really cool. Yep.
Yeah. So that's who that was. So goodbye, Bhadra.
And then
that's the end of Act 2.
Well, Katapa bows to Bahubali. Like, you think he's gonna come and fight him again, but then he ends up
does the knee
bowing
slide
to him. Yeah, exactly. The knee slide right into a bow. And I'm like, which that makes it.
It's so crazy. Everything they do is just
Well, it's gotta be it's gotta be epic. It can't just be a normal bow. But that makes the ending even more confusing to me. So we have to watch part 2.
Right? Yeah. It's so cool. Oh, I forgot I did that slide.
The knee slide right in. Yeah.
Slow motion in the rain and thunder. Like, yeah, it was good.
Well, you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know if he's sliding in to like chop his, swing at him or what he's doing. But
he does the foot on the head thing, which is, I'm guessing, some sort of symbolic gesture of servitude or something like that. But yeah, that's the end of Act 2, and then we're like, all right. Well,
story time.
Let's tell you about your daddy. All of a sudden, and then you like flash back, and it's like the same actor, and it's like, well, this is where it switches from like being like a story of like Jungle Boy that was raised by the waterfalls, coming up to the big city and stuff like Rebellion, and then it switches over to Lord of the Rings, right? / Gladiator.
Yeah, pretty much. Which is fine, you do.
I enjoyed this. I enjoyed it.
You miss the new Bahubali because he's charming. Where I think, unfortunately, like this is where it's kind of the story and the character development takes a step back, and maybe I miss some things, but it's just bros who are so awesome, and you know that they're gonna like split at some point and have different views on what it is to be king, and you know that there's gonna be a crazy decision, and it leads to an epic battle, and the battle is awesome. But I just knew that Bahubali was nice, but
I think they could have shortened this scene. It was literally the last hour of the movie because I had about an hour left, and this is exactly where I picked up when I started watching again. And I'm like, oh, we're just going into this. This is like a whole different movie.
I think that's like the weird thing. Like, I know, I don't know how they structure their stories over there, but if this was released in the United States, they would have just finished the first movie, and then they would have sold the prequel as another movie, and then they sell the sequel after that as a third movie.
It's like a whole movie contained in a different movie.
So, like, that prequel would have set up, Bahubali, and then like you made everybody wait for another 6 years for the third movie of the series, which is technically the last one. So, I don't know. I thought that was weird because, like you said, it's hard to get to know like a new character, and you're like already an hour and a half into the movie, and they're like, all right, that's done. Forget it. Like, here's the new dudes.
Basically,
and learn this whole new story. So it is a little jarring, but I guess.
Well, so they have like a spy guy, more or less. So when the brothers get older, I call them brothers or whatever they are, right? They're brothers, right?
They are brothers. Yeah, I mean they're not biological, but they treat them as brothers,
and when they're older, this is where you kind of learn how they have different personalities and different, I don't know, agendas. But there's
just like demeanors. Like the one is a little more beefier, and he's kind of taking things doing things by force and just doing things to get the job done, not worrying about other people.
He's got mean eyebrows.
Yeah. I mean, he's got those wide shoulders too. So.
You can see it. You can see it in the whole. I don't know what it was, like the bar scene or wherever they went to get some more or try to track down the traitor. But Bahubali is his dad. They're both named Bahubali, which makes it confusing. But he's the one who like creates the distraction because he's so charismatic. He's buying drinks for everybody. He's dancing with the ladies. And then, what's his name there? Bala over there is like sneaking around in the back, trying to find this traitor and, catch him and kill him. So it's definitely, they definitely have two different personalities and ways of thinking.
It's Amendra Bahubali. Bahubali is the dad and Mahendra is the son.
That makes it so much less confusing.
Amendra and Mahendra. So it's pretty close.
I mean, they're basically the same person. No.
just a little younger. That's all. But no, it's cool to see. I guess the two growing up, like the mom is the pretty badass, leader queen. Like she's the first ever queen too. I'm assuming, like because everybody's like, who will follow a woman? She's then she has all her guards start murdering everybody. She's like, fuck you. You were gonna follow a woman.
She's like my word is law.
State, what was,
she's not fucking around.
It's just like, that's like, you had my men turn on me, and it's like, they're not traitors, that it's statesmanship, or what's she?
Statesmanship. I think it's like political, like
statecraft.
It's being a
politics.
Statecraft,
right.
politics.
She's got the political power.
So when Padme goes, it's aggressive negotiations, and then goes running off.
Yeah,
there's a deep cut.
But she's cool. She just knows how. She's the wiser one. She's the one that's making the right decisions, and she's been doing it since she's been introduced. And you see it till her death, when she's literally holding a goddamn baby through like a river to get to save him, because no, she's cool. She has to put up with the uncle. That guy is a straight dirtbag, and
he's a real scum.
They have the spy. They capture that dude. The two brothers are like on a cliff, and the one Bahubali goes over the ledge to like capture stop the spy from killing himself, so they can interrogate and get information from him. Of course, his brother is like holding the rope and almost lets go, but
he does let go. He does it on purpose.
Yeah.
He lets go. It gets caught by a rock. That's right.
He intended to, kill him and take the throne, but it gets caught by a rock. Yep.
Taking the opportunity, because like really, a guy like that, like you can't just kill. So he's got to wait for those.
He would have survived the fall, dude. The young Bahubali, he was climbing up a mountain his whole life, and he would just fall off the mountain and be fine, just tumble on down.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. That's gotta hurt.
He's just like, I'll do it again tomorrow. Fuck it.
Yeah, there's superheroes. But anyways, so that spy has no choice. He has to basically explain, there's like 100,000 guys coming from my chief to here, and we're gonna take you out, and you're outnumbered. But the queen and the other dude with the crazy mustache, they take their wisest people, and they say, we're already trying to figure out who's gonna be king anyways. It's going to be one of these two guys. So when they fight, we're going to kill the chief. Whichever one of these boys, the brothers, kills the chief gets to become king. And hilarity ensues, right? The army shows up, and this is where it becomes Lord of the Rings.
Dude, the battle was great. It was very well shot, very entertaining. Lots of cool, like the strategies that they were using. Setting up with the shields, and then like, I loved when they used the catapults to like soak the sheets in oil and then bomb them over there and set them on fire. Very cool.
And their outfits were fucking badass. They just looked like cool guys. So like, I would be scared. This guy's got like the one guy, he's got like this, I don't know, what is that?
It's like a ball and chain, but it's like the whip from like Castlevania.
It's retractable.
Yeah, the Castlevania whip on
such a cool weapon
with a mace.
It's like a boulder on the end of a stick.
Yeah.
That dude, he just swings it around like it's made of cotton candy. Just murders everybody. Like, it's...
You can't forget the chariot with the spinning blade in the front.
That thing is
so stupid. I love it.
So
like,
good.
What is that? And these guys... But like, it's stupid because the guys they're fighting against just run at them. I'm like, what? And they fly in the air.
It's so good. I love it.
Like the whole setup for it, like when they have at the table and they're explaining the whole like how the battle's going to work.
That table's
and
sweet.
the trident form. Nobody's ever tried it. That's why it's going to work.
Right.
I'm like, okay, sure. So
the intro of the movie had a
funny.
map too, and it used English letters. I noticed. Did you guys notice that?
I didn't
In the
see
opening
that, no.
shot, there's a map.
Yeah.
It's like Lord of the Rings, and I was like, wow, they use English. I don't know.
I mean,
maybe
they do know English
version.
over there, Brandon.
No,
In
it's just
India.
like, but I just didn't know why that they used English on their maps. Like, why don't they use their own language?
Oh, like in the world, you mean? Like English? Like you're saying would be a map in this world?
Yeah.
No, in the
that's what I'm saying.
CG, like the movie's made in India. Why wouldn't they make it in? Their map should be in Indian language.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's using English characters on the map in the movie that has nothing to do with English anything. It just seemed weird, but whatever. I
It
mean,
could be.
again, it
Maybe
could
it's
be
the
just something
version.
that they do. They're just like, yeah, but the English is the world language, so we just use it for.
That's
stuff
what
like
I just
that.
assumed. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably what it is. But yeah, Dave, that map, man, I want to play. Like, would you want to play Dungeons and Dragons on that?
Yeah, it looked like they're playing
Right?
like, you know, World of Warcraft or
just
Game of Thrones,
make it-
like the
make it a
giant
video
map in
game map.
Dragonstone. Yeah,
Ah, so cool. So much detail.
maps
so
are
much
the
detail.
coolest.
Definitely.
Yeah, they are. But then he goes into that battle, man, and they have the two opposing armies talk, and they're like, hey, you know, we can avoid this. They're not going to. We have to go to war. And the chiefs basically like on the I don't know what the enemy opposing army is, but they're like talking smack, and the queen does not like it.
Kalakea is what their name is.
Oh, okay. Because she's like, after I kill your two boys here and wipe out your army, I'm going to take over your kingdom, and then I'm going to rape you, and you're going to have my kid, and he's going to be the next king. So she's like, no, you don't see that.
This is fucking
So she's
messed
like,
up. They're kind of like orcs, aren't they?
they are.
They're very
they're
orcish.
So dirty. They're just like dirty.
Everybody's got
teeth
blackface and yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They're all nasty.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, they obviously look like the bad guys.
Yeah.
You know, because everybody else is like
indigenous
clean.
tribe. Yeah, right.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, and who knows, like, what's going on there? Like, culturally, I don't get it. I just see that they look totally different. They look like barbarians or something like that.
Yeah.
And the others look like gladiators, Rome or something like that. But she says, "All right, I want that guy killed, the chief killed. But actually, you know what? Keep him alive. Keep him alive. Cut off his arms and his legs and let him lay in a pool of blood, so the vultures will pick out his eyes and eat his organs." And I'm like, damn, that's some cold shit, woman.
Yeah,
She's
she's not taking
like,
that kindly.
Nope, you're not getting away with that. We were gonna just kill you, and now we're gonna torture you.
Mm-hmm. And then the battle happens, and then there's just some like really cool tactics that they use, and the shots are great.
It shows the difference between the brother and Bahubali, like their tactics in war, where the brother's like mowing down citizens to get to the job, and Bahubali's like saving the people while getting the job done at the same time.
Yep.
There's a couple different instances of it. Like even when he shows off his smarts by taking the tents and doing the I don't even know what that maneuver is called, but hooking them up to the catapults to set the other army on fire.
I've never seen that before, but it was really cool.
Like, yeah, that was some of those things, like, you know, just creative, cool ways of showing battles. Like, it's not the same old just armies smashing into each other again. So
the arrow work was really cool too. I thought that was really neat. Just
that's like one of my favorite.
That, like, smacks it, like it slaps the arrows and it just shoots like 100 of them at a time. I'm like, that's fucking cool.
And the one brother got all the good gadgets. Do you see that? They split the armies into two sides, so he got all the bells and whistles. And the other guy had to just use like his brains.
I feel like whenever I see like an ancient war scene, that's one of my favorite shots. Is the arrows going up, and then you see the opposing force running, and then you just see guys getting picked off by the arrows as they run past. That's like one of my favorite shots.
That's classic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Balabala Diva showed us earlier that he could like fight off arrows. Remember, everybody was shooting arrows at him. He was sort of.
I forgot all about that scene. That was just batshit insane. It's just like there's like 40 dudes just surrounding somebody and just peppering him with arrows. And he's just like, ping, ping, ping,
no,
ping,
that was Bahubali, and Bala was using his fucking big ass boulder mace thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, you're right. All right, but yeah,
that was the dad too.
That was
Bahubali.
the dad. I do wish they showed that again, like in the battle scene.
You're like
That would've been
deflecting
cool.
arrows into other people because this
No, I forgot
every
about
5
that.
seconds is
Like a
somebody doing
lightsaber.
something amazing. Bing.
Yep.
You know,
Like
just grabbing something and turning around and throwing it back at somebody. That's what you do.
Well, at the end, when Bahubali and the chief from the other tribe like meet up to do their final battle, the fucking other chief is literally like throwing bodies at him and like piles them up in bodies.
Yeah.
And then he does like a superhero like out of the pile of bodies.
Yep.
Oh, so good.
Yep.
That,
He knew
that
was gonna
shot
happen, too.
reminded me of RRR. I was wondering if they're going to repeat like that same pile-on shot.
Yes.
But kind of a same thing, but
Similar. Yeah.
Yep. I just like that he's like that chief threw like 8 dudes at the same time at him, and it's all slow motion. They're all spinning.
you can
Like,
see the guy's
I
face
just gotta
as
see
he's
the
flying
concept
towards
art.
him.
I gotta see this. Like what?
It is like a
Show me the
comic book come to life kind of shit.
Yeah.
It turned into a full-on superhero fight at the end, which I was all for it.
But like, there's so much happening so quick that like we skipped over. Like, there's tons of stuff that we don't even mention here, but like so many shots of people getting like pinned to trees, and yeah, like you were saying, Brad, like things getting thrown back at people. Like, it's all, there's not enough time to blink and something cool happens here.
And no animals were hurt, but there was an elephant that looked like he was hurt.
Got fucked up.
It got fucking beamed. What was it? It was like the big mace ball right in the forehead, kind of.
Forehead, yeah. Mm-hmm. But the fight goes pretty much ends at after the chief is taken out, and it sucks because Bahubali did everything, or like he saved those people that were thrown in the front line, where his brother was willing to sacrifice his own people and cut them in pieces to just break through like the tribe and the tribesmen like wall, right, of soldiers. So,
well, Bahubali was getting ready to do what he was getting ready to cut off his limbs like his mom wanted him to and keep him alive, but then fucking Bala comes with a cheap shot to the back of the head and just kills the chief, and that was the end of it. Right. He's like, yeah, all he wanted was the throne. He's like, oh shit. Even though Bahubali is the one that did all the work to get to that point and get him down on his knees, comes in with the cheap shot at the end.
I forgot this part that, like, it reminded me of something out of fucking God of War. Like, the front tiger face of the chariot falls off, and he picks it up and starts using it as like a club on his fist.
I thought of Hades because that's one of the weapons.
Yes,
yeah,
for sure.
So and he's just beating the shit out of him, but then he like uses it to grab his head and like drag him with.
Oh, that's Dave.
By
it's
the
funny
head as he's going.
It's funny that you say that, and he's like an Indian Hercules, because that is the Hercules weapon in Hades. Like, the lion symbol is like the symbol of Hercules and everything.
Oh, so there we go.
There's got to be definitely a connection there.
No, that was awesome. I love that scene. That was super cool.
But yeah, that cheap shot didn't go over well with the queen. So she's like, dude, no, I'm sorry.
No, you ain't king.
You're a good fighter, but at what cost? You're not a leader.
You're a good warrior. That's the difference between a warrior and a king.
Exactly. You didn't save lives. You just took. And a king will do, like, you're a god if you can save one life, kind of thing.
That was a good quote.
Yeah, so it just is like the moral of the story basically is like these are a pure line, they're good guys, and they are the heart of this kingdom in like what you should be. Fight for honor and love and all this stuff, where the other guys just kind of fighting to kill and for power, right? And so, and then it kind of ends fairly quick. I mean, this is like the last 4 minutes of the movie. We're brought back in modern times, and they say like, that was your father, and they like, okay. So where is he? And he's like, he's no more. And Katapa
killed him.
Katapa,
yep.
Confesses it was he that
he says,
killed him.
I killed him.
I was a traitor.
Yep.
And you see a silhouette in the fire, and you see him stabbing him in the back in slow-mo. And
I love that stinger, because I was not expecting that. So I was legit like,
I was going to say, yeah, your brother killed him. That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the whole war is going on, and I checked how much time was left. It was like 17 minutes or something like that. And I'm like, there's no fucking way they're getting like through any of the rest of the
that's
story.
That's what I was wondering too. Like, I didn't know that part. The sequel was like a direct continuation of this first movie. So I was like, where is this gonna end? And then it ends on this crazy cliffhanger. I'm like, okay, there's a part two to this story.
There's no clean ending to this, which it kind of does. So that's why I say, like, in the US, they would have made it different. They would have cut it up differently, cut the story up in different chunks.
They would have.
I feel like you do not see movies, like you said, that released in the United States these days. They used to do this, like Back to the Future is one that comes to mind. That's like, there's part 1, part 2, part 3, and each of them end on a cliffhanger. It's your kids, Marty.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Gotta do something about your kids. And that's where the first one ends, So, like, they
Star
used
Wars
to do that.
Right? Empire Strikes Back.
That's what I'm saying.
Episode 2 and Last Jedi all end on cliffhangers, more or less,
movies,
Bad
I
guys
guess,
can
that are set up. I feel this is whatever, just a commentary on sequels and stuff nowadays, but it feels more like when we get sequels these days, it's not really a continuation of a story. It's just cashing in on whatever, IP is. They don't plan out the movies as like, oh, part 1, part 2, part 3 anymore. It's mostly just like, here's number 2.
Give the sub characters a bigger plot in the next one.
Exactly.
Have them flesh out the universe a little bit more, and let's turn everything into a franchise, no matter what it is.
I do like that this is like deliberately like, okay, we're gonna make part 1 and part 2, and it's one complete story.
Yeah, so there is only just 2. It's just the beginning and the conclusion.
The beginning and the conclusion. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, now we've met all the characters, and we know the reason. We know what's on the table. Like we know what everybody's motives more or less are. I want to see those other characters back from the first half of this Bahubali. Like I like those characters, like that woman, the badass woman that did the sexy dance.
Yeah.
Like she was cool. Like she just totally disappeared.
Yeah, that's very true.
I like that character.
She was there, but she wasn't really doing much after their whole love dance scene.
Yeah, so the next one has to take place.
Well, they got all the backstory out of the way at the end of this one, and that set it up to lead into what's going to happen. Well, I'm sure we will get more backstory about what actually happened and why Katana killed him. So
I'm hoping they do a reverse. They do like the first act, they finish up the rest of the backstory, and then the next 2 they finish up the main story. But I'm jacked to see more, Bahubali, the jacked Chris Hemsworth, Indian Chris Hemsworth, whatever his name is.
Bala, yeah.
Bala, yeah, that dude is awesome. Like, I want to see some fighting scenes with him in him. So I'm sure the next one is probably just as intense and just as...
What is the last 30 minutes of the next movie going to be like? I mean,
I don't know.
Throw some dance scenes in. I'm curious how long after it the next one came out.
I think it was only a year.
It said 2016. It says coming back in 2016.
Okay.
But I saw on Netflix that it was stamped with the 2017.
Yep.
And I think it's because he takes his time with these movies.
Maybe they filmed them both at the same time, because I'm guessing this was not a quick
guess
movie.
that they did. Yeah.
Both at the same time.
Make a new waterfall.
Break it and do it too. Yeah, I'm curious to see what happens. So, and like, I don't know, the one thing about this movie, I like this one and Triple R. They're both like visually just pretty. They're just, everything is stunning and everything is overdone, and like everything just has this epic feeling to it, which it makes all of these movies kind of fun to watch. So and I don't know, we've only watched the ones by Rajamouli. Thank you. So, I'm sure he's got his own style to him among Indian cinema. So.
I was going to say, there's a whole world out there that we haven't been introduced to yet.
So
we're just dipping our toes.
It's an interesting dip. So we'll check it out.
Thank you to everybody in the comments of Triple R. Seriously, like,
yeah,
absolutely,
it was cool. We wouldn't know any better.
We wouldn't know.
This seemed to be the one that stood out the most as the most one that was recommended to us, like in all those comments and everything.
Life changing. Yeah. Somebody said life changing.
Life changing. Wow. And like I gotta imagine like the conclusion has to be, I don't know if it's better, but like I need to see the end of the story, So I'm sure that'll be coming. That will be coming in the future.
I'm hoping for some more dance scenes. Like like I was saying before, the first half of this movie was
wanted
really
more
fun.
Dancing.
The second half was just all war. But that's the thing with some of these Indian films that we've watched, is they have like a little bit of everything in them. Like I could see like an entire family sitting down and watching this together, because grandma likes the love songs and the dances, the kids like the war and the action, mom loves Bahubali with his gorgeous smile grinning after every time.
Plenty of eye candy to look at in this one.
So these Indian films kind of have a little bit of everything in them, so that they're just fun.
Definitely. Yep. Glad we watched this one, and I'm excited for some more in the future.
All right. Then I think it is time to end this conversation. For now, we will return to Bahubali when we talk about the conclusion. But for now, let's take a break, and then in Act 3, we're going to play a little game. And we've returned, Act 3, and I bring to you, gentlemen, a game, a new game,
Yes.
a game that's
Love new games.
kind of in theme of Bahubali. It's gonna take place in India, so the game is called Oh My Gods,
Oh boy.
and I mean, good to the person who knows their gods in India, or in the Hindu gods, but if you do, then you have the advantage. I just plucked 5
I'm not
of the
brushed
more...
up on my Hinduism, so
Okay.
I won't. I feel like it's an
So-
even playing field here.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless Dave's like, I minored in it. College.
Nope.
Okay, but we've heard of these gods before. As stupid Americans, we are familiar with their names, and that's probably as far as it goes.
Are they in Smite?
So I'm just going to ask you guys.
They might be.
Maybe. I
Some-
don't know.
some of
there,
them.
Dave, that might
All
give
right.
you advantage.
Yeah, you might have the advantage.
But I'm going to ask, we're going to take turns, and you're going to say, tell me which one's right and which one's wrong.
Okay.
So I only have 5. So you each get 2, and then there's going to be a tiebreaker.
Sweet.
Okay.
So I have 5. Well, hopefully this works out. So let's see who can go first. I have a number in my head. Dave, out of 0 through 10, what number do I have in my head?
8.
Eric, what number do I have in my head?
7.
It's 5.
Yeah.
It was.
I don't know if going first gives me an advantage in this game, anyways. So
I don't know. I like to make it official. All right, Eric is the first to go. You get Ganesha.
Nisha. Okay.
Is Ganesha the god of knowledge and medicine, or the god of success and wealth?
Oh, this is an easy one. I'm just,
Dave.
Are you fucking with me?
I was like,
Yeah, I am fucking with
I was
it.
like, I wouldn't know.
Ganesha. Okay. What was the first one? Health and medicine.
Knowledge
and medicine.
and knowledge and medicine, or success and wealth.
For some reason, my gut says knowledge and medicine, so that's what I'm gonna go with. Ganesha.
I'm sorry, Ganesha is the god of success.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
that's what I was
my
gonna say too.
gut was wrong.
Okay, Dave.
All right.
Shiva. You get Shiva.
Shiva.
Is Shiva the god of death and dissolution, or sex and birth?
I think that I don't know. Shiva, I don't think has a dark side to her. I think people would be praying to her as like a goddess of life and birth. I think makes the most sense. Yeah, it does. She's got the 8 arms, and that seems right. We'll go life and birth.
Death and dissolution.
Oh
That's the only one I actually knew.
Death and dissolution.
They had a giant statue of Shiva when they were going to war.
Holding the head.
Yeah, holding the
Oh,
hand. And yeah, in Bahubali.
damn.
That's
I
the
feel like
only. That's
Shiva's
the
the
only
only
one I actually knew.
Is it?
Yeah, and I
There's
would
probably
say-
some sort of reincarnation belief tied in there too. I'm guessing that's why I went with life and birth. But yeah,
Okay, Eric.
Well, it's still even.
Yeah, here we go. Off to a good start, guys. Krishna. We've heard of Krishna. Is Krishna the god of love and
Ooh.
compassion, or food and the hunt?
Ooh. I've heard the name.
Krishna.
I've heard the name, but
Of love and compassion, or of food and the hunt?
I don't think I heard that name throughout the movie either, so there's no hints in
No.
the movie, I don't think.
Food in the hunt. Wow. This just shows how much we know nothing about Hinduism. I'm gonna go with the first one. What was it? Love and compassion.
Love and compassion.
Yeah.
And you chose. You chose correctly.
Yeah.
I know Krishna through George Harrison's song, I really want to see you, God, but it won't take long, my Lord. Baha Krishna. Right?
Okay.
Sure.
Baha Krishna.
I didn't know what they were saying
there.
there.
See you. Oh,
I know the song.
that's a great song.
All right.
Yeah,
sweet.
that's what they're saying in the background, I think.
I didn't know there was Indian in the background.
One on the board.
Yeah, so everyone in the background singing like Indian words because
That's cool.
they went to like they toured like that area out there and they really got into that culture and music. Anyways, all right, Dave. Rama is
Okay.
Rama the god of truth and virtue, or humor and drink?
Oh man. Truth and virtue, or what was the second one?
Humor and drink.
I thought I could have swore there was a smite god that had Rama in it. And I was assuming that it was going to be something badass. But the god I know from Smite is not humor and drink. I'm going to go with truth and virtue.
You chose correctly.
Hey, all right.
And Triple R, one of the characters' name was Beam and there was Rama, right?
Yeah.
Rama had the amazing mustache.
Yeah.
Truth and virtue. So I feel
That makes sense.
like
Okay.
that's
yeah.
what I would have gone off of.
Sure.
If I had that one. Yep. I'm proud of myself. I feel like I'm doing pretty good with these. Like, what could I be?
So
it's a tie.
I was gonna
So
say
a tie-
it's 1 to
yeah,
1.
So this is the last question. Yeah. So this is the god here is.
Are we both going here?
I was gonna say, what are we
so
gonna
the
do
god.
then?
So the god is Vishnu.
Okay.
Okay. Now you guys can either take a guess, and then if you don't get it right, then I will give you guys both like the options of what this guide could be to choose from, and then we have a tie game here. So do you guys want to take a shot? What do you guys think?
We might as well. We both
Vishnu
just,
is the god
I
of.
say I don't even have a guess, but I could.
yeah,
come
we'll
up with
both
something.
just guess, and if somebody loses, then not.
Again, sounds familiar, but I can't think of.
Oh, so we have to just come up with something, huh?
Yeah, just take a shot if you want to take
Shot
a
in the
guess.
dark.
Think about. Yep.
I want something cool like revenge and destruction or something like that, but I don't think that's gonna be right.
I'm gonna say happiness and joy. I don't know. That's my guess. Can't think of anything else. It's probably the
I'll guess
opposite.
from the other one. I'll say humor and drink.
All right, you're both wrong. So, is Vishnu the god of poison and fire, or is Vishnu the god of sustainment of life?
Oh man.
I'm going with. I mean, I don't know if we want to go opposites, but I'm just going with the life one.
Sustainment of life.
Sustainment.
I'll go poison and fire, sure.
And poison and fire is the other choice. Vishnu.
I think it could be either.
Vishnu is the preserver and sustainer of life.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Wow, that was close game.
Realize
So
how
there you go.
little we actually know.
We don't.
Complete guesses.
Yeah, but we knew the names. Like I've heard the names before.
I've heard, yeah,
but
definitely heard the names.
Which is interesting because like I heard, the Greek gods, and I looked into what they do.
I was gonna say, if this was Greek mythology trivia, I would ace it.
Yeah.
But like watching these Indian flicks, he's making me like, why don't I check out the gods? Like they're pretty sweet. I mean, it's pretty fucking cool to see a massive battle, and you have this like person with multiple arms, and one of them's holding a decapitated head. Like that's just like, what is this god about?
That's
I gotta,
badass.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I learned something here. Made me definitely made me a little bit more interested.
I'm gonna do a recap. Ganesha is I'll read from what I got from Wikipedia, or I'm sorry, from this website. But Ganesha is the lord of success and wealth. Shiva represents death and dissolution. Blue-skinned Krishna is the deity of love and compassion. Rama is the god of truth and virtue. And Vishnu is the preserver or sustainer of life. And there's many more.
Nice.
I didn't recognize those ones. So good game, guys. So we didn't really have much for social for this episode because it's kind of little out there for at least for our followers on Twitter and Discord. But if people did want to get a hold of us and follow us, where do they go, Eric?
Sure. If you want to follow us on social media, you can find us at Nomads of Fantasy, Twitter and Instagram. If you want to email us with your thoughts, questions, suggestions, all that good stuff, you can email us at nomadsfantasy@gmail.com. You can visit the nomadsoffantasy.com for all your nomad needs. Do we want to tease our little project that we've been working on?
Yeah, why not?
Sure.
Go for it.
So yeah, we've been in the background here. We've been doing a little project, a little group collaboration on a game that we've been making. And it is very close to being done. It's a web-based game, very similar to all your daily word games and guessing games out there. And it is coming soon, and it should have a soft launch pretty quickly here. We're in like the final stages of development. I don't know if we actually want to say the name and concept.
Well, we'll announce it in the Discord if you want to come play.
There you go. There's
your
your
trial
tease.
pass. Come and join the Discord.
Yeah, the nomadsfantasy.com/Discord if you want to hop in there if you're interested in chatting with us or getting a little sneaky peek at this game. I'm hoping by the time this episode releases, we'll be ready to actually start having people check it out. So.
It's fun. I've been playing it already, and I've been stumped by some of my own creations and things.
Yeah, there's some good ones in there.
It's good.
It's a legit. It's cool to play this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's fun.
So if you've played Wordle or any of those games, it's that.
Mm-hmm.
But
follow us on social media for all your hot updates on that. But should be releasing very soon. If
you're listening in India and you have any tips or pointers, because we did get a lot of clarity from the last episode when we did Triple R. If there's things that we got wrong, things that we misunderstood, or any of that, just shoot us something on Twitter, shoot us something on YouTube, anywhere.
There have to be some things that we got wrong.
Even
I was struggling to remember characters and character
That's what
names.
I like about YouTube is that it allows people who listen to the content to make comments right there, which you can't really do with a podcast. So appreciate it. Yeah, if you're listening to this on YouTube, go ahead, put it in the comments. We do read them, so please, thank you. And with that, we're done. Let's get out of here, guys. That was great, Eric.
Yeah.
What do we say when we leave?
Well, we always
Utini.
With that's only for Star Wars episodes. As always, safe travels, nomads.
Bahubali!
Bahubali has returned!
Bahubali!
Bahubali! Bahubali!
Bahubali!
Bahubali!